Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 25. Are we there yet? This is What's Love Got to Do with It. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, to do so below, and you will be entered to win a Vibratex toy. We're giving them out once a month until we run out. So we got a few to give out, so make sure you subscribe.
Also, you can like us on Instagram or email us with any questions or topics, and we will also put you in the drawing.
That's true. That's true too. I always forget that part. Thank you for watching. I'm your host, Susan Ruth.
I'm your host, Mara Adelman, and today we are talking about the dating in the apps. And we are two humans. We're going to have the real conversations and raise the questions we all have about where is there when it comes to dating, relationships, and sex. Oh, where's your there been?
Lions and tigers and bears and
lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! I feel like this is me in dating apps lately.
I feel like she very much describes my opinion of dating apps. We'll get to that. My there right now, I just wrapped my very first film that I wrote and directed. It's very exciting. I had an incredible team. That was exciting. The actors were phenomenal. It's called The First, and we are in post-production. So I'll let everybody know when they can eventually watch it. I'm so excited. It turned out so good.
It's so exciting. Susan here let me read the script, and it was amazing. She wrote it amazing. Like I got goosebumps reading it. So watching it's going to be
yay. I'm really excited.
Super cool to watch it.
And you're there?
My there is that I was having regular sex for a couple months, maybe 3. It was very nice. I was dating somebody. I think I had mentioned back on the green flags episode that I was dating somebody who was really good at giving green flags and doing all the right things, but that it was complicated and it probably wasn't going to lead to like something in the future. The reason for that, which I don't know why I'm being so shy about saying it, but like it's very taboo still, is that I was dating somebody in an open relationship. And we're going to eventually do a whole entire podcast on open relationships, ethical non-monogamy, polyamory. In this case, he was married a long time. They had a kid. Him and his wife agreed to this. They've been doing it for 7 years. They're pretty good at it. And I thought, you know what? I might as well try everything once. And it was fun. I have great compersion, which means you are happy for other people's happiness. So when he's like, I got to go home and see my wife for dinner, I was like, cool. But there's such a stigma on it still that it made me nervous to say it out loud to the world that I had tried it. But when I'm on the Bumble dating app, I would say probably 1 out of every 10 men that I encounter is in some kind of ethical non-monogamous relationship and states so on the thing. Also, while I was dating somebody, everybody was like, oh, I know 4 other people who are dating in open relationships. So it made me feel less like an outcast for
I think it's far more, it happens far more often than people realize.
Or people want to admit to.
Yeah, that too, maybe. For sure.
I'm trying to be an open book, right? So I did recently end it because spring is here. It's time to get out and about. And I felt like maybe I would use that as a crutch to not try to date as much. And as an older being, I really want to have like connected sex. We had fun sex. We had friend sex. I want to have like, I really like you connected sex. And so I'm going to hold out, I guess, a little longer and meet people in person and continue on the apps, which we will talk about more shortly.
And spring has sprung, and that's exciting. So the birds and the bees and the humans are all sniffing around each other, so to speak.
Time to get out in person and sniff around a little bit.
I think there is something to that. I think there is something in the air that makes people a little bit more smiley, or maybe they'll talk to each other, hopefully in real life. I know you're more of an apps person than I am. I have tried apps. Not a huge fan, but you've had good luck with them. I feel like in a lot of times.
I have. We'll get into it as we kind of move through the stuff. I have and I haven't, because there's
really quick. Based on what you were saying about being in that poly or the open relationship, did you learn about yourself? What did you learn? Because I think that's probably a great way to maybe not be so fast digging in, because you know this person has a person already, How was that for you? Because I know that we've talked before that you have anxious attachment styles. Did that quelch it a little?
100%, because it was like, even I think when I'm dating people, if the expectations are really clear, I know the expectations. He was very clear about everything. Again, I think we talked about this in past ones. The kink community is really better at open, honest communication, aftercare, making sure everybody's good with it all. And so what I learned from it was, number one, I really want to like be in love and have sex, which I'm so bummed about, because like I thought it was going to be the year of like I can date him and go do what I want, right?
Sure.
Instead, I just kept finding like I want to feel connection.
Yeah.
I want sex and that. The other thing I learned is that if I date somebody who's a bit more secure or gives a lot of green flags, which he did, my anxiety is so minimal, which means I'm moving more. We talked about attachment styles back in one of our episodes. I'm moving more towards secure attachment style, because if I can date somebody even slightly secure, I feel great. Of course, I wasn't in love. We go back to that. And I learned that
you weren't even, not only were you not in love, but I would say you were not even obsessed, or
oh no, it's hard to be obsessed when you're not in love. It's like having a friend. How often do you feel obsessive about your friends? You're just kind of like, oh, I'll see you when I see you.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so it felt like that.
Yeah.
It was good learning though, but now it's back to the apps. So I like the apps. I am not going to poo-poo them 100%. I think everybody should use it as an extension of dating, unless you have like a bunch of dates lined up all of the time because you meet people in person. I don't hear that from most people. So the goal
I tend to meet people in person. That's yeah. I prefer it.
Yeah, through your business, through writing, through all
just
the things.
Just being out in the world. Yeah. By the way, sorry, it's raining like cats and dogs today, so apologies if that's real loud. But yeah, I like to move through the world and touch, taste, smell, sight, that kind of thing.
I can't wait. I'm already starting to do more of that now that the sun came out around this part of the woods and it's spring. And so, yes, but if we move into the apps, let's, I always like to start with history. This is kind of cool. I had no idea. 1965, two young Harvard students were on one of those huge IBMs. My dad has an old picture with a huge IBM computer. Now we have our little phones for our apps. And they created the very first computer matchmaking service in the United States. There wasn't a lot of dating. Post-war, 1965, yeah. They built a 75 question survey for people to fill out, and people would mail in those questionnaires along with $3, and they would do a list of computer generated matches. $3. Wow. It's so cool, like once upon a time. So it's been going on a long time. Professional
matchmakers make thousands of dollars.
Yeah, because it's hard to meet people. The coolest thing, the next year, they had 90,000 people using their service.
Wow.
So talk about like filling a supply and demand, right? And then, of course, technology. By 1980s and 90s, more and more people were getting online. And in 1995, here comes Match.com. They were the very first one. They were the first one I ever used in 2002 was when I did my first online dating, I realized. Did you try it way back once upon a time?
Never did Match. I did, I think it's called Plenty of Fish. When I when I lived in Nashville, I would sometimes spend summers in Bellingham, Washington, where I went to college, because I love it there. It's beautiful in the summer. And when I went there for one of my sojourns, I got on Plenty of Fish and met a boyfriend that way.
And so you were trying to meet somebody in another place?
Yeah, I just figured I'm here for the summer.
It was a whole summer. Yeah, I missed that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like, because that is one of the things we're going to talk about a little bit. I don't love it when I have sometimes people that I match with and it looks like they're local, but then all of a sudden I realize they live in Oklahoma or somewhere, but they were visiting and they didn't set their app settings right.
Yeah. You got to set. And the other one, I met a guy through, what is the other one? eHarmony. But he turned out to be nothing. Like we dated a little while, but his profile, his understanding of himself or whatever he did to fill out his thing was none of it was the deal.
It didn't ring true to who he actually was.
No, but we hooked up for a while, whatever.
There's a lot of that goes on too. And so the cool thing is 1 in every 10 people have found their partner online, which is 12% of people.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. But like I've gone on hundreds of, like once upon a time with Match, I think I did 100 blind dates, first dates, not blind because you knew each other from the computer.
Yeah. Sure.
And we'll talk about it in a little bit, but now I try to do a video first. But I have several friends who have gone, like they get online, they get on Match or somewhere, they go on 2 or 3 dates and they fall madly in love and they're still together. One of my friends, both her and the guy, very first date online, happily married to this day, 10, 12 years later with 2 young children. And so what I'm getting with that is I feel like a lot of this is luck and the universe, because I don't feel like I'm bad at dating. And I know a lot of other people who aren't bad at dating. They just don't have that luck where it's like, oh my God, there's my person.
Yeah, I've never had that. I mean, I've had the, wow, this person is attractive, but I've never had the, ooh, instantly that's my person. So yeah. Maybe it's just me.
Well, we go back to the slow dating thing. Like, I mean, but still, I've gone on second dates and it's just not matching up. And so some people just get really lucky.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy for them when that happens. But I think before we talk about all of this, we should talk about single shame a little bit. And I think I even did it to you one time. I'm like, what do you mean you got off the apps? Nobody has to date. Like, who says we have to date? We can be single, full functioning, fledgling people and not even date at all, in person or online, right? What's your thoughts on single shame? Does it happen to you?
Yes, generally by older men in taxis and or lifts who are shocked that I'm the funniest thing I hear from people. How are you single? You're so great. I was like, just lucky, I guess. You know, that is just the weirdest thing to say to someone. Like, how are you single? Because I make good choices. That's how.
I'm not what does that mean? I'm not married to the wrong person and living with them and hating them. Or
I make good choices. It's just such a weird thing.
So there's a lot of that goes on. I hear about it from many people I know. Like, oh, you're not going to bring somebody to the wedding. Oh, you're going to come and be the 5th wheel. I'm like, no, how about I'm choosing to pop in with my married couples because I love you guys. And I can then go dancing afterwards because you guys are all going to be in bed. Like,
yeah.
I'm not touting single is better. I'm just saying single is equal at least.
Yeah, for sure. That's where all those great rom-coms, the singles that go to the weddings and hook up or yeah, or hire the platonic friend to be their date, and then they fall madly in love with the platonic friend. That's a rom-com for you.
That's rom-com, because that also usually doesn't happen. I've been to plenty of weddings as a single person. So I don't know about you, but I roll through the world as a single person with no shame.
But it's you know, I've had conversations with 20-year-old women. It tends to, in my experience, at least, it tends to be with 20-year-old-ish women, college age, right out of college. They're like, where's my person? I want to meet my person. Is my person coming? Where their mindset, I don't know if men have that feeling as well. I think they have that at 50 maybe, where they're like, where's that person's going to take care of me? Where's that? I don't know. I just think the great cosmic joke is that everyone is in such a different place at any given time that trying to match that up is not easy.
It's almost impossible, it feels like. You're right, because most men in their 20s are just looking for fun. Women mid-20s are like, oh my God, I better start getting serious if I want to have children. And men at 50 are kind of like, okay, I've done all the fun. Maybe it's time to settle. And these are generalizations. Plenty of young men get married, stay married their whole life.
No, of course.
But it's so fascinating. You're right. We're all like, it's all like out of sync. And then you add, so next up, we talk about impediments to dating. So time. I don't know about you, but even when I'm on the apps, I have all my alerts off because I don't have any alerts on my phone. I'm probably only on there 5 minutes every 3rd day. And then I converse with people. Like time is important.
It is a time suck, sure.
Time suck. I also don't do a lot of social media. So to me, I just don't like, you know, we've talked about this. I don't like being on my phone more than I have to be. However, if I want to date, to me, again, I go back to somewhere in the middle method, which is in person and a tiny bit of online, so that you can keep your skills going. But we have to keep it fun. And so I'm trying to think of it as an adventure, that we'll see attitude along the lines of like, maybe my person is on there, like my friends who got married right out of the gate.
Well, so there's time suck, there's kids, there's animals. I know a lot of people that don't want to have a social life because their animals keep them tethered to their homes. Certainly when my dog Mikey was still around, if I had many a time where I thought, do I want to go to this event or do I want to hang out with the best dog in the whole world? And Mikey won almost every time. So that's not great for his social life. But so that's another thing. Family, religion. I mean, there's a lot of things that get in the way
of dating. Oh yeah. The swipe culture gets in the way, because if you don't have enough time and then you're on there and you're swiping, like if I only go on there every third day, I might miss somebody who wants to chat in that moment. But I don't do well with that like IMing thing. It's not a real conversation. And so I call it the Mara method. I go straight into like a couple chit chats. I have a pre-made text like, hey, I really prefer not to give out my number. I really prefer to have a video date. So let me know if you would be game for that. I said, there's some creeps out there. You seem super cool, but let's video date. I would say 1 out of every 5 guys drops off right there because they don't want a video date. That's fine. For me, I've had the problem of giving out your phone number is now you're getting random texts from a random person at 8 a.m. Good morning, beautiful. What are you doing today? And I'm like, well, I have a very busy day and I don't want to be talking to you because we're supposed to have a date. I feel like a lot of people use dating apps to fill a void, to chit chat, to feel ego strokes maybe. The goal of a dating app is you seem normal, I seem normal. Let's see if we're really normal. And you can establish that in person. If you have the time and energy to go do that, you can do a video. You can even do a phone call. I remember when I was on Match, I used to do phone calls before I'd meet people for safety reasons. And there was a guy and I could tell right away, 5 minutes in, that he had a very negative attitude. It was his tone of voice. It was how he spoke. And I was kind of like, I don't know if we'd be a good fit. And he was very pissed off that we had a phone conversation and I wouldn't go on a date with him.
Yeah, there's some aggro folks out there for sure. But it's good to know red flags right away, obviously.
Yeah. And so everybody gets to do it how they want. I just know that if I screen it that way, I don't end up putting on makeup, getting cute, leaving my 2 cats and 2 dogs who I'd probably rather hang out with anyway, to go meet somebody and be 5 minutes in going, oh, no.
Yeah.
To back yourself out. So
also a picture is a lot different than the chemistry you feel with another human being. You can look at a picture and say, oh, that person's attractive. But then when you're in each other's orbit, it could be all bets are off.
And oftentimes it is.
Yeah.
At least with the video, you get a lot of that. Do we have some fun chemistry? And I've had some video dates turn into a really good in-person date. But in person is where you get that like, oh, I like your pheromones, or I like your, it's a different. So, but for me, the phone or the video for people is just screening. It's not like a date. But I've also had people, don't you find which one were you doing last? You were on one.
I did Bumble for 3 days, got off. I did Raya. I've done, by the way, I just looked at this and realized she does look like she's on her phone. She's like, scroll.
She's got her head.
She's like, fuck.
This sucks. Swipe. That's funny. She does. Bad for the neck too. All that as a medical provider, all that looking down is what.
Oh, it's very bad for your neck. Yeah. But I don't think it really matters which app it is. I think that a lot of them will hype themselves to be about one thing or another. Bottom line is, and again, I'm not as hyped on them as you are. So this is good. We're like the what is it? The Siskel and Ebert or whatever of dating apps.
I always think of us as like the yin and the yang, like our picture.
Yeah.
You and I are always yin and yang, which is good.
Yeah. I'm a tried and true person in real life. The real bummer about being a real life kind of person is that I will walk by people in droves that are just staring down at their phone. They don't look up. So there are so many missed opportunities to have a moment with another human being because people are so attached to their phone. I'll be sitting on a plane and watching, somebody a couple seats up, just swipe machine, boop, 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 boop. And I think, wow, firstly, how are you even processing that much information? But I guess people know what they like when they see it.
Okay, but it's not, you're right. That is not the time to be on your dating app. Do that from your bedroom when you're home alone, when you're out in public.
Do it on the cam like everyone else.
Do it while you're pooping in the morning. Come on.
I saw your picture while I was taking the biggest shit of my life.
Which is
and
why
I thought, there's the one.
Which is why, remember my germaphobe ways when everybody's like, here's my phone. I'm like, no, thanks. And they wanted to, I'm like, yeah, no, thanks. The phones are gross because most people poop while they're dating. Anyway.
Did you say poop while they're dating?
Well, I mean, people are.
That's a subculture we haven't gotten into yet, but yeah. No, I know what you mean.
So I do feel like, I lost my train of thought now.
Sorry.
But do that at home when you're out and about is when you're supposed to be eyes up, body language open, smiling at people.
Why don't you smile?
Or get brave like me and actually start conversation. Oh, I did. So I have a crush on my vet, not my regular vet that I see all the time, but the internal medicine vet, because I have all my animals have stuff. So we went yesterday and I had said, okay, he doesn't have a wedding ring on. We've chit-chatted. I was like, I'm going to do it this time. And I did. And it's mortifying, but we have to do these things with people in the real world.
Did you ask him a coffee or?
I just said, because him and I hit it off really well. We're both medical people. And so we always hit it off really well. And I just said, hey, I'm new to town still for the last couple of years. And I'm looking to go have fun. What kind of fun are you doing? And if you ever want to go out and do something, I said, I need more friends that are medical, that we get each other. And he was so cute. He looked down, he said, oh, mostly I'm just basketball games with my kids. And I said, I said, but most of my married friends are asleep by 9. I said, I don't know if you're married. And he kind of shook his head. So a lot of people don't wear rings.
Not medical people. I went to my gyno and she doesn't wear a ring while she's working, probably because you're dealing with a lot of stuff and you got to put on gloves. And
yep. So I was proud of myself for trying.
Good for you.
In the real world, get off your phones, people. Have a crush, move forward on it. Now I know he's not interested, but I'm still going to enjoy our conversations because he's a super cool guy. So yeah, you got to get out there and do that. You're right. It doesn't matter which app you're on. Although I did link to an article, I believe somewhere down there is one all about like which apps do what. The virtues and downsides of online dating. It doesn't really go into each app. There's articles that go into each app. I like Bumble because as a female bodied person, we can pick the person first. When I was on Match, I would get a lot of things in my inbox that I didn't feel a connection with. And I always felt bad about not responding. Mm-hmm. And so this makes it easier. You match, they match, you both match, now you talk.
I did a field that's more on the fringe of dating. It's, the polys and the BDSM culture and like all this stuff. I was interviewing a BDSM person on my Hey Human podcast. And so I signed up to dig around in that app to see, some of the subculture stuff. It was really quite fascinating.
It's super fascinating. I recommended to a client recently because he wanted to get more into that subculture. And I was like, go on Field because that's what they do. So Field is a good one for anybody who wants to be more poly, open, kink community. It's a great app for that. And then if we look at like what your profile should look at, we're just touching on like little bits of all of this right now, but 3 to 5 good pictures, make them be current, show one at least showing most of your body. So
no fish.
Nope. That's on my list. Okay. If you want to have one fish to show that you like fishing, but when you have a bunch of big, gory, bloody fish, it's a turnoff. I can't help it. A lot of people fish, it turns out.
A lot of people. There are a lot of fish. I love to fish, but I'm not gonna
show it. I mean, again, one little fish while you're out looking great, but they're gory. I don't want to see the blood.
Have your friends pick your pictures also.
Have your friends pick your pictures and show different sides of yourself.
This is for men and women, by the way.
I'm trying to keep it as generalized.
Or non-conforming or, non-binary. It doesn't for anyone. Just have your friends help you.
So on that note, this is not cute. Do you know how many pictures? And
sunglasses. Ooh, I don't like the sunglasses people.
It makes it really hard to see the eyes. And
eyes are everything. To me, that just screams serial killer, which, is fine. If you want to be a serial killer, that's on you. But I don't really, it's not really my first date vibe.
But eyes are what you're looking at when you're looking at these pictures. Like, could I like you? Could I see kissing you? Like,
yeah.
So but I'm sorry. I don't know if women do this. I'd like any men listening to report back. We're on apps. I would say 1 out of every 5 guy has a picture of them sticking their tongue out. And I don't know why, for me, it is the biggest turnoff.
We're going to be talking about oral in the next episode. Maybe they're showing what they got.
Totally. Yeah, they're like, oh, I never thought of that. They're like, look how long my tongue is, honey.
Maybe.
I think what it comes down to is men feel uncomfortable in pictures, and it's a defense mechanism.
Yeah, I think everyone is sort of awkward when it comes to stuff. Yeah, and the other is the cropping the person out. So it's
I know.
Who was that?
Drawing a black circle on the face. So just try to get some good, clean pictures. Have your friends take some good, clean pictures. Negativity. I don't know how many runs I read, and the very first thing is, you know, women on Bumble, you have to respond first, or I can't talk to you. There's a lot of like wording that comes across really negative from the get-go that turns me off. I'm like, this is supposed to be fun. And so some people are like, I'm only looking for casual, or I don't know, there's fun ways. Some guy did it good. I'm looking for companionship, travel, and fun. And he said, I have the wallet if you have the passport. Like right there, he's saying, I might not be looking for marriage,
but I'll be a sugar daddy.
But I might be a sugar daddy. But he didn't, it's how it wasn't a negative connotation. Does that make sense? And so when I read through them, and as soon as it's like really negative, I'm like, you're not having any fun. This is supposed
Some people like that too. I mean, here's the one thing about apps is I suppose that when people do write their little blurbs, you get a good little wink at who they are. So if they are coming across and you're like, oh, that's not for me. Somebody else might love a good Eeyore.
Oh, that's a very valid point. For me personally, I feel like positivity sells, but you're right. Yeah. Some people like Eeyore. Also, no offense, there's also the ones where it's like, sometimes they're really hot too. Here's a couple hot, good pictures, but they say nothing about themselves. And so it makes it really hard for me to want to swipe when there's no information. Like they'll fill out the basics, like I'm a man and I don't smoke and I exercise 3 days a week, but they don't put anything in there. Again, I don't know what the female ones look like because I haven't got to peruse those.
Oh, I look through the women ones.
Do they often put more in the bio maybe?
No, not necessarily. It's usually a lot of boobatrons and bellies. And, you know, I think everybody's at this point on the apps, it seems like a lot of skin. They're showing, like this is the banana peel half unwrapped. If you like this, then you can unwrap the rest of the banana peel. And that for me, I'm more of a, let's get some mystery going a little bit. I don't know, it seems, but look, the world is full of insecure people. It's not like we are not insecure. Of course we are, but I think that sometimes those insecurities really take a front seat on the apps.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm like,
maybe that's good to know. I don't know. I don't know the answer to this really. I
don't know the answer either.
I had on Hey Human, I interviewed a man and a woman that were very active on apps. One represented Bumble, the other one represented Tinder. And it was a pretty lively conversation and very eye-opening about how men and women of that generation, I think they were in early 20s, saw things.
We should link to that one, and so that people. So it was all about dating apps. That's fun.
Yeah,
I will try to find it and link it if when you remember that episode later. Link it here so people can listen to people fighting over which.
We got links.
We got links down below.
I'll interview her later.
Yeah. We've got links. We've got everything from like app. Oh, there is. It was a video. App recommendations. How to make online dating work for you, podcast to listen to. There's a copy and paste text for when somebody's acting flaky. It says he, but you can use them gender non-biased. Pretty much some copy and paste text when you're getting online dating to kind of, hey, what happened? I thought you're right. And then also, interestingly enough, there is a huge increase of mentions on the apps, 21% increase in mentions of mental health, or that people are doing counseling. And so in the pretty much since COVID, that's become a thing where like people are like, I'm emotionally intelligent, or I have seen counselors in the past, and it actually increases people's likability if they're working.
Oh yeah, I love to hear people are in therapy. I think that's great.
It totally helps knowing that people are working on themselves. So then the video dates. I think video dates are great. It's pretty much like you and me sitting here right now, maybe a cocktail, being a little fun and flirty. They only need to last anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. I've had one go a little bit longer.
But only one cocktail per our earlier episode.
Yes, I am definitely drinking less since our alcohol one. Oh, wow. Like I measure so only having, because we did a whole one, it was episode 21. I won't forget that episode because it was 21 for drinking and dating. So only have one cocktail, whether it's a date in person or on the video. You're only doing it just to see if you like their voice. I really care about the voice. I have fallen in love with somebody's voice. And so I also went on a date with somebody who was really high and squeaky. That's okay if you're high and squeaky. It just didn't work for me. And so the video allows you to have a quick suss of who these people are, but you can't feel the pheromones. So there's that.
We know what we need is the proper way to tell someone without hurting their feelings. I'm just not into you because I feel like on apps sometimes when it's hard to extricate yourself and be like, well, thank you so much. That was fun, but I don't think it's a match. And sometimes people get very offended, which is a real bummer because you can't help what you like.
They get very offended. I have a pretty much solid, even if I had a video date with somebody and then he reaches out after, but I didn't feel like the kind of thing I need. But again, I'm more particular. I'm going to be 49 soon. And I've been doing this a lot. So other people might find it easier to meet a lot of people where it might jive. I just don't feel like that works for me. And so I lost my train of thought on that. Oh, essentially, if they ask me out, then I would just say, even at that point, they don't have your phone number. So that's kind of nice. One of the reasons I quit doing this is I had an icky experience like that. Is essentially, you seem super great. Thank you for the fun video date. I just don't feel like we have the kind of chemistry I need to move things forward. And I use the word chemistry a lot when I do that, because then it's not like something you did wrong.
Yeah.
And usually that is what it is. It's not like anybody did anything wrong. It's just, I was like, oh, or we just don't jive. One guy I went on, so one time I did that and they had my phone number and he very quickly sent me a picture of a dick pic. Well, then you're not going to get this. And he had a very large member. And I was like, okay, I see your big penis, but now you're just being an asshole. And you have my phone number. And so there's been stuff that's turned me off over the years, which is why I don't give out my phone number until I meet somebody in person. I don't even give out my phone number after the video date. We meet in person through the app. And then if I like you for a second date, you get my phone number. But that's
so assaulting to send you something like that.
Oh, it felt so icky. I think that's probably when I went more towards the video stuff. Everybody gets to do whatever feels good to them. And I'm not saying give up on the apps, because as we said, 12% of people are still meeting people on apps. To me, it's like a little you might get lucky. Who knows?
Where's the old sock hop of yesteryear?
We need a sock hop. I'm working on, hopefully with a friend, getting some little sock hops going in my area, because people meeting in person is so much better than anything else.
I had this idea years ago, and I'm sure other people have had this idea. And I said to one of my girlfriends, it's like, you know what we need to do? We need to have a party where you invite 3 single people that you vetted that you're not interested in to the party. And then they come to the party, 3 or 4 of them. They wear a little name tag, they say their name, and then underneath they say who vetted them, like people that will speak for them. And you have a room full of 50 people that maybe the friend isn't into these 3 or 4, but somebody else out there might be, and that they've already come pre-screened of sorts. Like, this is a great person. They're funny or they're kind, but we don't have that. I just think that would be, and then pepper it with a couple of couples as well, so doesn't feel super awkward. Yeah. I just think that'd be a good party.
It would be such a good party. That friend that we might do stuff in the future someday, she did one of those with singles and couples. Couples want to meet other couple friends. She said one of those couples there was in an open, ethical, non-monogamous relationship. So, and there is that thing about the single people versus the coupled people. We actually play really well together.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So on that note, just like we've always talked about, slow dating. You don't need to have a video date for 2 hours and then go on an in-person date for 6 hours. A lot of people get carried away on the first couple dates because they like each other. And then sometimes that can lead to fizzle out. And so it's wise to cut it. Like if you have a dinner date, good, 2 hours. You should not be 2-hour dinner date. And now we're going to go here and here and here. You can do whatever you want, but there is more of a chance that will fizzle out.
And there are people that just want to hit it and go. Like if you're out there just looking for one night stands, That's, there are definitely apps that geared toward that as well. Nothing wrong with that. Do it. Do what feels good. Be kind and be courteous unless somebody wants you to be otherwise. But yeah.
Be kind and be courteous unless somebody doesn't want you to be. Sometimes people want you to be a little rough and nasty, right?
That's true. That is true.
On that note, just like in real life dating, ghosting sucks. I have gotten makeup on. I have sat down at the computer. I have been ready for a video date and they were a no-show. This might be old fashioned, but I kind of wait for the guy to hit the video. Like, we're going on a date. You know what's happening. And never happened. 2 hours later, my phone starts making weird noise and I didn't realize it would do that. Oh, he's trying to call 2 hours later. I was like, no. I wouldn't wait at a restaurant for you for 2 hours. My makeup's off and I'm done with that concept, right? Mm-hmm. And so be polite, even when it's on the apps. Be honest, be courteous. Don't ghost people. 99% of the time when you get ghosted, it has absolutely nothing to do with you, but it's still rude.
It is rude. Even if you're saying, I'm having a panic attack, I can't come meet you, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I would be like, okay, cool. Take care of yourself and no harm, no foul. If you want to contact me again, do so, It is tricky, man. Humaning. I say it all the time. It's so hard to human. And then we are training each other to be so distracted and distant and non-empathic on so many levels. And I hope that the pendulum will begin to swing the other way.
I hope so. I feel like we're going down. It's the apps and the Twitter. It's just all so much that people can't even focus in on one thing anymore, including somebody to date. But in that note, make sure you communicate, plan ahead, plan a date. Don't text that day. What are you doing? Like, do you want to do something on Friday? It's okay if you've already gone on several dates to pop in, but that planning ahead thing is important, I think. Do you want to have a date in a couple days? Let's go have dinner. That's also feels like that's gone to the wayside. Do you feel like people have forgotten how to do that?
I appreciate when people call me to ask me out on a date, like in real time, but I know some people are just that's not how they roll. I do not like the unsolicited FaceTime.
Oh no.
Not a fan of that. I won't answer. And part of that is because I'm a nudie. So might be walking around my house naked and, doing my work. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a nudist. I'm a nudie. Like some days I'm just like, don't feel like wearing stuff right now. I
never knew that about you. As a girl who grew up on nude beaches, I love it that you are a nudist at home.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to air everybody out. Let everything be, whatever. But that being said, I don't mind the text ask out so much from somebody that I've actually have a thing, like I've been with them or around them. Like, hey, what are you doing? Do you want to go do this thing? That I don't mind. But I think for the first date, I am a little old fashioned, believe it or not, that I do like the phone call. Hey, do you want to go out on blah?
And the phone call. I love it when it's a phone call, not just.
I need to, but we're old, maybe. So
we're old. I know.
That's just the thing, because I think that most people of a certain generation would be mortified if their phone rang and they would throw it across the room. They don't want that. So it just depends on the person. I just know what I personally like.
Everybody's different. That's actually a good thing to talk about with somebody when you first start dating is,
what do you like? Yeah. What's your vibe?
Do you want me to text you? Do you want phone calls? Otherwise it can get wonky just because people like to communicate differently.
They do.
And then if you are on a first date, if you want to have sex, great, but you should still use condoms and have the STI talks. Make sure that everybody is good. It's better if you can wait a little bit longer, but I have had sex on the first date when I was younger and actually dated somebody several months after that.
Yeah, I have too. Yeah. I've had oral sex on the first date, I should say. We're going to talk about that in a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, save that story. That's a good one. On a first date. Wowzers.
I mean, it just sort of happened, I guess, but we ended up dating for like a year, so it's fine. But I think I only had one one-night stand. I think I've only had one in my life, and I was like 19.
I did a bit more of that when I was younger, and I found that it doesn't matter. They've done studies like if you have sex at first, if it's gonna work, it's gonna work.
It's gonna work, yeah. I don't think no harm, no foul, exactly. And
Yeah. But getting too many, like as we talked about with slow dating, getting too many pheromones and oxytocin and dopamine going too soon.
It's a power. It's a superpower, sex. It can be. So wield it wisely.
If you get all those chemicals going and then move into dating and you actually like each other and you want to, you know, you have the chemistry, my 4 C's, the chemistry and the compatibility and the connection, and you're both capable of being in a relationship, you could possibly screw it up because of all those hormones getting a little too excited a little too soon. And so I always tell people, I have clients that I've said, just give it a minute, like date through 2 even, just make sure this person isn't crazy, that they're going to be honest with you about, you know, condoms.
You might not be able to recognize someone that's off balance in a dangerous way for quite a while, though. The people that are really good at that will be able to keep it hidden.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But, you know, I had a client tell me she was on like date 2, they have sex. He pulls the condom off and doesn't tell her. Ew, gross. Like, so again, that could have happened on date 3 also, but I'm just saying vet people a little bit more. A lot of guys have done that. You haven't had that? You haven't heard of this?
If a guy pulled that on me, he would not be probably walking.
My client was equally pissed off at the
also I'm very present during sex, so I think I would notice if that were.
I hear that, but she also was very sexually experienced. He was behind her, and when he wanted to get behind her, he took it off.
Oh, that's no bueno.
I've heard this from multiple women, and so that's great that he. Anyway,
yay.
So, the more you know,
that would be no bueno. That has not ever happened to me, to my awareness. It would not end well for the guy. I can tell you that much.
Not end well. I hear you.
Yeah.
She discovered it when he came on her backside.
Oh, nice. Superman style. Yeah.
So anyway, on that note,
boy, this got dark.
I know. Let's
Woo.
Okay. So then you've made it past like the 3rd date and you're maybe talking about getting off the apps. That is kind of a conversation, because I've also had people who think they're dating somebody only to find they're still kind of swiping, but not really, only to find that he's still on the apps also. And so it is a conversation at some point, like, are we going to stay on the apps? Or are we going to get off the apps? Otherwise, you discover it and you feel blindsided.
But people are going to do that whether or not you, I mean, it would be good to have the conversation and for people to abide by what they say. But the truth of the matter is, I know several people, both from every direction, that have found out that their partner, who they thought was just with them, was still swiping, because it's that grass is greener thing that we have in our society, right?
Swipe. They call it the swipe culture. I know. And so you can't, it's always worth having the conversations. You have to decide whether you trust the words coming out of somebody's mouth.
Or just wait till they fall asleep, hold that phone right over their face, get in there and find out. Just hold their eyeball open.
As a dating coach, that's hilarious, actually. So funny, Susan. But as a dating coach, I don't advise going through people's phone. It is
I'm kidding.
But that's funny. I like that. Okay, so I just had to, so this is my personal take that I put out to the universe, because like, you just have to put it out to the universe. I go on the apps, I go out in person. I'm fine single, but you know that song from Miguel, I don't need a model. I don't need you to win the lotto. I just need you to win my heart. That is my motto when it comes to dating. Like you pointed out, that whole half naked thing. Great. You have great abs. You know how the guys do the shirtless pictures, but I don't need you, and I don't need you to be necessarily rich. And so it is hard when you're on the apps trying to suss out like that. I do think there should be a little less of that bathroom naked selfie picture, because I can tell with your shirt on whether you have abs.
But again, we're old. I feel like the younger generation, I don't care about that stuff, but I think that there is a certain generation of people that are like, let me see what you're working with.
Probably.
They even want to see all the genitalia. Like, let me see what you're working with.
Oh, definitely on the app like Field. Gay people are great at that. Anybody who in the queer community, they're kind of like, show me yours, I'll show you mine. Let's talk about it. Let's instantly. Mm-hmm. I find that I like a little more, I'm like you. Maybe we are old fashioned. We're
old fashioned. We like a little mystery. Yeah.
Get old fashioned. I want to
unwrap it like a present. Oh, surprise, surprise, surprise.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So I took the quiz.
I took the quiz. I got 10 out of 10.
It told me, oh, I didn't write my number down.
Oh, wait, 10 out of, wait, which quiz are we talking
about?
about?
We're on the dating quiz told me. It sounds like I've already tried it.
Oh, mine was, you don't like apps. That was what mine was.
Which holds, so the quiz works. Because you don't like them. You're like, I'm done with the apps.
Is that what you got?
No, but I wasn't surprised that that's what you got. Mine was kind of in the middle. So the quiz works because I'm kind of in the middle.
Mine was like, nope, not for you. You need real life people.
Cut it. You're like, no apps, cut it. Mine was kind of like, you've already tried it, but maybe you should still give it a chance. If you want to increase your odds of meeting somebody, keep your options open. Which is right where I feel. I'm going to do a little apps and a lot of in person and see what happens.
Yeah.
We will report back.
Wish everybody luck for however they want to do it. Stay safe, be aware, be open,
vulnerable. Like you said, anybody who wants to ghost me could just say, you know what? I thought I was feeling it tonight. I'm not. Or the idea of a video is stressing me out more than I thought.
Yeah,
you're right. If more people were vulnerable, there'd be a lot less ghosting in person and on video.
Yes.
And on that note, in 2 weeks, we're going to talk the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything oral.
Ooh, all right. Looking forward to that. Oral sex, meaning.
Oral sex, yeah.
Yeah, not oral fixations, which also is kind of, well, Mara, I love you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Tell your friends. Make sure you subscribe. You can email us. Email awty@gmail.com. I don't know why I always stumble over that. And follow us on the Instagram. Are we there yet? Instagram. Yes. And yeah, good luck out there and report back. We want to hear from you. So
we do want to. I totally forgot. We do want to hear from people because we are listening to our audience. People are loving our guests. The most watched videos are our guests. The other one is a lot of like the more taboo thoughts and concepts. And so if you have a taboo topic, if you have something that you really want to talk about, email us at emailawty@gmail.com and we will add it into the mix.
Yay! Bye, everybody.